Was that the countdown, the show? Hi, everybody. This is Thamsanqa TU. We are on Central News Live. It's a new, it's a new platform that has been provided by Central News for live engagements on all the digital platforms. That is Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, if you are there. And today we are doing the first show. It's called the Let's Kickstart the Week. From next week, we'll be doing it on Mondays and every other Monday. Today, as in every other week, we'll be joined by Mr. Lebona. He is the chairperson of the Free State Publishers and Editors Forum, a very important news and publishing forum that ensures that we get fair news, we get proper news, we get factual news, and we get all the the spicy and the controversies that may be hidden in some corners, but the publishers and the editors, they get it all out for us.
Morning, my brother, and good morning to our viewers there at home.
And this being the first time we're doing this, I'm quite excited because I think for a long time we have wanted opportunities to engage with with our peers, talking about the important happenings in our country, in the world, and everywhere else. But the platforms have always been restricted by by the mainstream media. Now that we have this, it's important that we can be able to engage on a peer-to-peer basis. And right now, I'm certainly not trying to put myself as a peer to you, given the fact that you hold such a senior position in the Editors Forum. Myself, I host the TT Hookup. It's a podcast that we're trying to build up. So thank you for giving us that platform, Dr. Lebona.
Yes, my brother. No, thank you very much, and all thanks to the Central News for providing us with this platform. Because, like you said, we previously didn't. We normally not get this kind of opportunities to indulge on various issues that are affecting our peers, like you said, that are affecting South Africans, that are affecting everyone who are living in our country and in an African continent. So this will be a good one. I'm also excited about it because we'll be able to express our views. We'll be able to express views on behalf of everyone who doesn't have an opportunity to do so.
And we hope that in the future we'll be able to, if anybody wants to, post in their opinion, they can be able to, present it in the comments, and maybe we can, allow in the future like somebody join in by video just for a few seconds to say, what their views are on the discussion, at the particular time. But right now, I think let's just do a few quick ones, just things that have been trending in the past few days. The first on this being the Jacob Zuma appeal for private prosecution of Mrs. Karen Mon and Billy Downer. The High Court having denied the former president, the opportunity to appeal the dismissal for private prosecution. I think that is quite big. It's quite telling. It tells. I don't know, because I see like a number of media houses are saying it's the final nail on that coffin, if we can call it that. That the former president has no other recourse other than that. And I would have thought maybe the Constitutional Court would be the final arbiter in such a case.
Yeah, many they are saying that, especially media houses. In fact, they are saying it's a victory for media fraternity as a whole that the Pietermaritzburg High Court denied President Zuma, former President Jacob Zuma, an opportunity to privately prosecute News 24 journalist Karen Morgan. Remember, this case is from way back where that journalist exposed President Jacob Zuma's medical records without his consent, and also with the help, of course, of the state advocate Billy Donor. But in the past, many people condemned it, even though some of media houses and media organizations such as SANEF, they are saying that it's a victory for media fraternity. Many people, they have their own views regarding it, because remember, according to me, it was wrong for Morgan to expose the medical records without the consent of the former president. But now, and remember, in June, the judge Gregory Kruger said that the attempt by former President Jacob Zuma to wanting to privately prosecute Grant Morgan was an abuse of power, So that's why many are excited. But I don't see it as I don't think it's a final nail. We'll see. Maybe he will approach Supreme Court of Appeal based on this judgment, but we'll see how it goes. But many people, like we said, they're excited. Many people I'm talking about, especially those ones who are in the media fraternity, they're excited to say, no, it's a victory for the Grant Morgan as well as senior state advocate Billy Donor. Yes.
And I think while it could be a victory for the media fraternity, so to speak, it may, for me, it seems problematic for for ordinary people, for ordinary citizens, or for all people. Yeah, for the right to your privacy, especially as it relates to your medical records. It means now that the as long as you are a so-called media house, you can willy-nilly publish my private medical records as you will, and I would not have a right to prosecute or to to seek justice for what you've done, because you have a right of expression or a right to publicize. I think like these rights have to be balanced. Really, the media may have a right to to inform, but does it have a right to
to expose,
to infringe on my privacy? I think that is the downward spiral that will be going to if we allow this to happen.
Yeah, and also I agree with you. It also leave many people with questions as to what will happen in future. Does this means that media houses are allowed to go around and speaking or exposing other people's confidential matters, especially health matters, without their consent? Because if it's like this, the judgment simply means that other media houses or other journalists in future will peacefully or without a doubt exposing other people's medical records, and they will use this as a reference to say, no, in 2023 judgment, Pietermaritzburg High Court laid down a judgment saying that former president didn't have the rights to privately prosecute a journalist who exposed his medical records without his consent. I mean, it is quite disturbing because you ask yourself as an individual, what will happen in future? Does this means media houses are allowed to do things that are not appropriate? Because in my view, it was totally inappropriate for the News 24 journalist to expose former president medical records without his consent. I mean, this can happen to everyone. And this can happen to everyone if they manage. Other people will ask themselves if media houses or certain media outlets manage to do this to the person of former president. It means they can do that to an ordinary individual, and it means that if former president didn't lost the bid to privately prosecute the person who did that to him, what about an ordinary citizen? It means that ordinary citizens they will be exposed without their consent, and nothing will happen to those who did that. I mean, it's quite disturbing, but we'll see whether the former president's legal team will be able to take it further and see if they can be able to get justice that they're looking for.
Yeah, it's quite a powerful precedent. You're right, and I think though this sets the platform for organizations such as yours, like the Editors Forum nationally and everywhere else to look at their own ethics going forward. But I think another thing which was important, which the judge said there, was that it's not the other reason that led to the dismissal could be that the former president is pursuing this prosecution because he has got ulterior motives, not necessarily for the so-called stated merits that have been mentioned, but got ulterior motives. But what I have learned in the past, like in other precedent-setting cases, has been that as long as there is justice in a case being sought, the motives for it are not necessarily, important for the decision to be made, whether to prosecute or not. And the fact that the former president is doing this privately, like a private prosecution, seeking private prosecution, it means that the state had declined to prosecute. And this makes justice scary and very expensive, for people like that. And if it were to come to ordinary people, it would be even more scarier.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I think maybe let's not dwell on it too much. Perhaps I think also maybe we may need to get some, like a professional legal opinion around this, maybe sometime, because I think there's a lot to explore there.
Yes,
such as it is the case with this second one that that I think we must discuss quite briefly also, the bail application by Dr. Nandipa Makutuma.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. Bloemfontein Magistrate Court denied her bail because remember she applied for bail saying that Thabo Bester, whom happens to be her boyfriend, took her forcefully out of the country. Previously, she claimed that she also, in fact, it was contradictory. I saw it as contradictory because she said first, Thabo Bester took her out of without out of her will to Tanzania. Then secondly, she said police, they arrested her unlawfully in Tanzania. So one would ask, if you are saying you were taken out of the country willingly, Thabo Bester escaped with you to Tanzania out of your will, why would you be happy? Why can't you be happy that police rescued you? Because if you are arrested, then they brought you back to the country. You're supposed to be happy. I mean, I saw that argument as contradictory, but we saw yesterday that the court denied her bail, and also the family of Katle Khoberen, whom his body was used as Thabo Bester decoy, were saying, should Nandipa be granted bail, it will be a slap on their face, because they believe that they still need justice. Remember, ever since this case has started, they haven't told the court the truth as to what happened. And, but we saw that yesterday, the court made a final verdict on that to say, no, we're unable to release you on bail, because also the judge was, the state was arguing that should they allow her bail, remember they were saying Dr. Nandipa managed to cross 3 borders of 3 different countries illegally, so without a passport. If she managed to do that, what will stop her to do that should she be released on bail? It means she will do it again. If she managed to do it from the first time, it means she's capable of doing it for the second time. And I found that I agree with the state on that one. If she did that the first time, she will do it the second time.
While I agree, I do, and I agree with it, and I found it very interesting. But I also wanted to counterpose it with this, given that legally in our country that you are innocent until you are proven guilty by a court of law, and one of the accusations that Nandipa faces is that she aided and abetted in the escape of Thabo Bester, and this escape would arguably include the transiting into these other different countries that they managed to go into. That is an allegation and an accusation. Now that the judge relies on that to say we can't give you bail because you may again escape and flee the country. You pose a flight risk because you've done this before. That sounds to me like it's judgment already when you say you've done this before, whereas it has not been discussed in merits, in the case. That is of course just the layman's perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, my view. But it sounds probable, and I don't know. Like these legal the lawyers who are representing Nandipa, why would they advise her to seek bail, knowing in those very conditions that they would make it improbable and difficult for any judge to arrive at a decision to grant bail, given that somebody has shown the potential to be able to go anywhere they want, whether with passports or no passport. Because sometimes when suspects are given bail, they're given bail on conditions that they may not travel anywhere beyond the particular readers given, and you would even be required to hand in your passport. Now, somebody has been proven to travel, to be able to travel without passports. How so it then means them,
it's unjustifiable. Like you said, remember we're speaking from a layman's perspective, but in future we'll definitely invite legal aspects to explore more on this. But one would ask himself or herself that if like you said, when you are one of the bail conditions will be hand over your passport, but with one is different. She managed to escape. I mean, it's from my point of view, the state's judgment was making sense on this one because she managed to escape. So what will stop her to do it again? But I mean on legal lingua, I don't think that holds water because of we remember we need to put an evidence before court so that you are able to prove your case to say this person indeed escaped. So, but remember her argument was that I was forcefully. It means technically she was saying Bester kidnapped her to get out of the country. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see whether
and she seems so in love with Thabo Bester, yet she was escaped, man. That's
it's another issue that doesn't make sense because remember previously, I think it's 2 weeks back when Thabo Bester appeared physically in court, they all looked lovey-dovey. You wouldn't you saw that these people were married. I mean, they are still in love. They looked in love. So why would you be looked and fled with the person whom you claim that forcefully taken you out of the country against your will. I mean, but
just scared for her life and all of that. But I think there's a medical condition known as the Stockholm syndrome, where a victim falls in love with their captor or their abuser. That could be the case also with this. I'm just overreaching, of course.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, there's that. I agree with you. Maybe she can use that as to say no, but it just doesn't make sense. Having looked at the fact that the other legal analysis were saying that she's possible must for this Bestas escape. So if she managed to do those things for someone whom he claimed he was scared of, why she did those things from the onset, one would ask those type of questions. But we'll definitely invite a legal expert in our next episode so that we can get more insight of this, so that even our viewers can be able to get a clear understanding of what are the chances of Nandipa to get out of the jail.
Yeah, and one of the big stories that are happening right now and for the past few days has been the death of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the former president of the Inkatha Freedom Party, the prime minister of the Zulu Nation, and a national parliament member,
the longest serving member
of the National Assembly, Dr. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. I think it's quite an interesting scenario that's happening, because the views are so conflicted in our country right now around what kind of of tribute does the former IFP leader deserve. Is he can he be said to be a hero of the people? Can we definitely give him that status as a former hero, a liberator? Because there are many allegations around what him and the IFP may have done in many of our townships in Gauteng, in KZN, in just before 1994, 1993, is it deserving of a hero status?
Yeah, you're right. Many people were arguing that I even penned down an opinion piece about it, whether should he be celebrated or not, because other people they have a view that they should not be celebrated, because and other people are saying no, he should be celebrated because he also contributed towards the 1994 elections. He also contributed towards the end of apartheid. Others, they are saying no, he was working with the regime at that time that oppressed our people. So his legacy is quite controversial. It's quite controversial and complex at the same time, because one, remember, is the prime minister of Zulu Nation, the longest serving prime minister of Zulu Nation, and also of course, Zulu people will say, no, he must be celebrated. He's our prime minister. He's our leader. And other people will be saying, no, he must not be celebrated. Others will say, no, this is what you've done. He contributed in the quite a couple of matters that happened prior 94. His party, IFP, contributed to that. So it's quite controversial and a very sensitive matter, because many people, they have their own views. Even those ones of the ruling party, they say, I mean, others were thinking that maybe he will not be afforded a state funeral due to the fact that due to those historic matters that happened prior 94, but it's quite controversial history of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who is the longest serving National Assembly member. But, many people, they have different views. But the question remains, should he be celebrated or not? Now I'm saying, let those who want to celebrate him, celebrate him. Let those who don't want to celebrate him, not to celebrate him, because people, they have different views about this. And the unfortunate part is that we cannot dictate, no one can dictate another person's views. They have the different, there are those who love him, there are those who don't love him. And now that he has left this world, it's the only person who's able to respond to all these questions that are rising now. It can only be him, and now is nowhere to be found. And now we'll get different perspective about he did this, he didn't do that. It's very controversial legacy. And so unfortunately, history is history, and history cannot be erased. But what matters is how you interpret that history. That's what matters at the moment. I've also seen the City Press article on Sunday to say, of Monty Makanya saying that people should not say there's nothing good about that Prince Mangosuthu did, but the reality of the matter is that there's something good that he did for Zulu people, and we cannot write that off. It's a fact. And something that Zulu people believe that as our leader, he did 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, that those Zulu group who are saying, no, he didn't do this. He did 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's controversial legacy, and it's very complex. It's very.
And by the way, when we say Zulu people, we do not necessarily mean Zulu speaking people, but we mean people who subscribe to the Zulu kingdom.
Yes, people who subscribe to the
because there are
Zulu
people
kingdom.
in KwaZulu Natal who don't necessarily subscribe to the values of the Zulu kingdom, or that they live in the Zulu kingdom. They don't subscribe to that. But those who do subscribe to it are those who may have been subjects, who are subjects of the Prime Minister and the King of the Zulu nation. That's what we mean. Because there are definitely many people who are Zulu speaking and who are Zulu who do not necessarily hold him in high esteem. And I think to relating it to something also that you said, that it does not matter now what you think of him or what you thought of him, given that the president has declared the rights for a state funeral for him. All flags must be flown at half-mast. It means that we are all bound to mourn. We are a nation in mourning, for the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi.
Prince,
whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not, I mean, history, and is there on black and white that he did oppose apartheid. He contributed towards the end of apartheid. So the others were saying, no, he didn't, he did this, he did that. But like I still maintain my view. Let those who want to celebrate him. Let those who don't want to celebrate him, let not celebrate him. I mean, those who want to celebrate him shouldn't attack those who don't want to celebrate him. Equally, those who don't want to celebrate him shouldn't attack those who want to celebrate him.
And one of the people who suffered one of the people who suffered his wrath at some point was the president of the EFF, Julius Malema. I remember at some point when they were campaigning, they went into KZN, into his area, and apparently that they were told that that area is a no-go zone, and they said they would even go into his house and and campaign there. And I read a statement by the EFF, I think last night, where they were also paying their tribute to him. I think it's heartwarming. I'm talking about Malema now because he's now going back to court for that case of
firearm case,
wielding a firearm in public and having it fired carelessly and recklessly. And this case has been going on now for some time. I don't know what
for over 5 years
about such a case.
Yeah,
and the EFF is always embroiled in these legal things. Do you think it helps their image, or do you think it helps them, keep them in the public in public imagination? That's why these things drag for so long.
They say bad publicity sells sometimes, but lately, there's one thing about Julius. He's always on the headlines for good reasons and wrong reasons. I mean, look at this case. It's been ongoing since 2018. Remember, he was firing a gun in 2018 during the 5th anniversary in Mdatsane, Eastern Cape, together with his bodyguard, and they took him to court. And it's not only that. Now, during the 10th anniversary, he was taken. There was a video where he was slaughtering a cow. Then they also filed, they opened a case against him to say he brutally killed the animal. So, but this, I would say, this bad publicity, it works for him because people, they don't forget about him. Remember, when you are in politics, you shouldn't make a mistake of being forgotten, because once people forget about you, in order for them to remember you, it's a quite difficult task. So this, it definitely works for him, because remember, all these cases that Julius is facing, they are, I would say, it's just a politically motivated, I mean, from my perspective, they don't hold any water, but they popularized Julius. It's one thing that I can tell you. That's what I observed. And I know many people others will agree with me, others will disagree with him, but they definitely work on his favor, because he becomes more popular on daily basis. Because once
these people who are taking him to court are achieving the opposite of what they want.
According to me, they achieve the opposite of what they want, because he becomes more popular. Because remember, he grabs more attention. Look at this case, the firearm case that is ongoing at the moment. Obviously, no media outlet will not want to cover such case. All of them, they will cover it to say, no, Julius is appearing in court. They will think maybe they make him unpopular, but they make him more popular, because the more he appears on media, the more he becomes popular, and the more this young generation knows him, and he works, and that definitely works on his favor.
Talking about bad publicity making somebody popular, I want to bring it home a bit to the Free State. I see the provincial secretary of the ANC is quite trending nowadays. For a lot of what some would say are wrong statements or wrong things being done. The latest one now being backlashed by former President Malema on their ANC election things. They having submitted names which would not qualify to be in their election committee. In the election committees, provincial list committee, I think that is what it is called, and previously having told a number of members of the organization that they were a fraudulent. They were elected fraudulently as structures, different structures. And I see it's getting a lot of media traction and social media traction. Do you think that is also purposeful, that he's trying to to gain publicity and a staying power in people's mind also?
Yeah, remember,
I think it is achieving that.
Well, on that regard, I think partially so, but remember also, bad publicity should be calculated. You can't do the things publicly that will compromise you. On the other hand, even this one, it works on the favor of the current provincial secretary of the ANC, because remember, now people will start wanting to know, who's this man? We want to know, who's this man? What does he do? Why? Because remember, the more you appear bad publicly, the more you become popular. But it should be calculated. It should be calculated. You can't just do it with a layman's mind to say, no, I will do this. I know definitely that I will be popular. It depends. It depends. But with this one, I think, because I've also seen a couple of his statements and utterances publicly. Well, I think in my view, he was just expressing his honest views. But of course, there are those who will say, no. This one was saying the things that we don't agree on. But of course, when you're a leader, no one will agree with you. I mean, not everyone will agree with you. There are those ones who will agree with you, and there are those ones who will disagree with you. But I'm not surprised. Remember, the current provincial secretary of the ANC in the province, in the Free State, while he was the secretary there in Thabo Mofetsanyane, the same character that he's using now is the same character that he was using then. And many people were even saying that he was the only man who were able to face the then chairperson, who's now the former, the expelled Secretary General. Many people were saying was the only one who were able to confront him at that time. So I don't know why people are surprised now that he appears to be ruling with the iron fist, because
he is himself.
I'm not surprised, because it's his character. So why people are surprised that he likes to say things. He's brutally honest, and you know that when you are brutally honest about certain things, people won't be happy with you. I mean, truth hurts a lot of people, unfortunately, and when you don't express your views the way people want, definitely people will hate you. But I think on the other hand, as much as bad publicity sells, but the professional secretary somehow should be careful, because of not always where the bad publicity will work on your favor. Others will use it to defeat you. Others they will use it to advance you. It's win or lose. It's win-win situation. Win or lose situation.
I think we've been going for almost like 40 minutes now, and I don't want us to keep this discussion for too long.
Yes.
I think let's move on quickly to another thing, which has, which has been topical in the Free State, the building of 2,000 RDP houses by a single contractor. I think that has been quite controversial, because some people have argued that it does not add to the building of or to promoting a variety of business people who can benefit from such a huge contract. Now, giving it to one single main contractor may be problematic, and I think it will be interesting to see what the department will decide to do with that going forward, given that yesterday was the last day for submission of of proposals in that regard. But it will be interesting to see what the department will decide, because I certainly am one of the people who would think that give that big cake to as many people as possible.
Yes, I mean,
yeah, don't just close it to one person who will then give other people crumbs on his table.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense that as well. How can we do? I mean, I saw it, then I asked myself, why would department give one person to build 2,000 houses? I mean, 2,000 houses, I mean, it's a huge contract to be given it to one person. But like we said, we'll see how it goes. I hope the department, they will reverse that decision and go back to the drawing board. Remember, that Department of Human Settlement, it's quite controversial because not so long ago, we've seen where the MEC and the HOD were fighting, and their fight was quite disturbing. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe they made a mistake. Let's assume that they made a mistake. I don't think that it was a deliberate, even from where I'm sitting.
Another important one. I'm pushing you now because we're pressed for time.
We're running out of time. Yes.
Yeah. Another important one is the impeachment of the public protector.
Yes.
It's quite precedent setting. It is unprecedented in our country. I think this must be the first Chapter 9 institution principal or head who has been subjected to be impeached. Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, and she was the vote that went against her. It's about 317 votes, I think.
That is actually 318.
318.
It's actually 318 who voted. Then 43 voted against. Actually, 43 were in her favor. Then only one abstained. Then you ask yourself, they really wanted her go. They really wanted her gone. Yeah, they really wanted her gone. So it's very quite disturbing. She's actually the first post 94, since 94, since the dawn of democracy. She's actually the first public protector to be impeached. Then you ask yourself, it's very tricky, this issue.
It is.
But again, she should have just from this impact. Then maybe those who are advising her, they surely advised her differently.
And she's been dragging it, and I think she's been dragged. And her contract is about to expire. I think in about a month's time. So it's I think it's a blow here. It's a blow for her as well. Having such a record of being the first and the only public protector to have been impeached and fired in that way, I think it's very bad for anyone's record. As a person, I feel for her. And talking about herself, like the nomination of Advocate Tsaleka as the incoming public protector, it's also very controversial in my view, given the fact that some would say that she would be a beneficiary of the favors that she's been doing for some in the political spaces, in particular the president, because some would say that like the report that she gave on Palapala was not necessarily very objective, but was subjective and leaned more in favor of the president than being really, really objective. So she's been giving a reward.
It's payback time. Yeah. And that's what you're saying. It's payback time because remember when she released that Palapala report, people were saying, which was quite controversial. Others were saying she was already singing for her supper, knowing that once the former public protector has been removed, she will automatically be appointed on that position. But we'll see how it goes. But it's quite controversial that her appointment, based on the things that she has done in the past, it will be quite controversial. But we'll see how it goes.
But I want to call it her nomination for now because she has not yet been appointed. And given the fact that Parliament requires, I think, a 2/3 majority to appoint a public protector.
Yes.
And that Busisiwe Mkhwebane has been voted out by such a big
The
number.
2/3. Yeah, in fact, it's not even a 2/3. Yeah,
it's more than 79%.
It's more than 2/3. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that the incoming, if it is indeed, well, it will be, do you think she will get such a big number of votes in her favor? Because I would think the DA would not support her appointment as the public protector. The EFF definitely wouldn't support that. Do you think she will get a 2/3 majority also?
I think if they will, I don't think so, because remember, even the impeachment of Mkhwebane, if it was through secret ballot, I think Mkhwebane could have survived. Yes. Remember, those members of National Assembly, they are representing political parties, and they are given mandate by their political parties to say this is a line of march. So it's quite tricky, but we'll see. We'll see, but I doubt. Yeah. But you'll never know. You'll never know. Politics. It's a very critical game. Today we support you. Tomorrow we might sing a different tune.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. And we are now on what there's a declaration by Eskom of stage 5 load shedding. And I think these stages, man, they are just words and names, because stage 6 and 5, there isn't really much of a difference in terms of the end output. How many hours you are getting off on a particular day, because on a single day you have stage 5, you have stage 6, you have stage 3, you have stage 4, whatever. But there is that load shedding at the end of the day, and it doesn't look promising, given that we are in such the season is very hot. Well, despite for today and yesterday, but the season is very hot.
Yes.
Yet it suffer such a massive shortage of power. I think, in my view, I would think that perhaps maybe Eskom should just apply, should just tell us that for this week we are in stage 6 or stage 5 or whatever it is, and not have this up and down. On a single day you have 3 stages of load reduction. For me, it doesn't make sense, really.
Indeed, it doesn't make sense. On Saturday, I was listening to the ANC chairperson, who's also a minister of mineral resources, Mantashe, saying that they are working on a load shedding. I mean, you'll remember that when the president Cyril Ramaphosa was appointing Dr. Hossein Tsoramo Sputa to be the Minister of Electricity, we had the view that this load shedding will come to an end. And even then, Dr. Sputa promised that he will work very hard to ensure that the load shedding come to an end. But quite surprisingly, here we are now into stage 5, and it's quite sad. It's quite sad, and one would ask, where does this thing going to end? Will we ever see the end of load shedding? Because previously President said this, then suddenly now we are back to square one. It's quite depressing as well. And I've seen yesterday I was watching. I was looking at different towns. Their load shedding schedule, and I was like, it's very bad. It's very bad. But I think the president should put out into confidence as to when exactly will the load shedding come to an end. Because now, then in winter, we understood that in winter a lot of people are using electricity, but now we're in summer. I mean, what is the purpose of load shedding now? And you will get a lot of explanation from different people. But I think on this one as well, in the next episode, we should invite an expert, perhaps maybe who's coming from Eskom. Maybe we'll invite the former the former, was it CEO, or maybe so that we can get their perspective around what is happening in Eskom. I think we should do that, because now we can talk, we can analyze this thing the way we want, but we'll never ever give it a clear perspective unless we get it from the horse's mouth, from the people who once led that space.
Yeah, no, certainly. I think we've had some interesting discussions. Let's keep it going. And if anybody in the watching would like to comment on any of the things, please leave your comment in the comment section. Whether you're watching it on Facebook, on YouTube. Also give us suggestions as to what is it that you would like for us to discuss in the future. And on load shedding, if anybody, especially like those small business owners who are affected by load shedding, tell us how you have been affected by all of this, because it has had a massive impact on small businesses and big businesses alike. So let us know what you think. Let us know on any topic that you think you want us to discuss. Let us know in the comment section. And yes, my name that Lebona Lekoena. Please,
yes.
If there's anything else that you would like for us to discuss before we out any announcements you may have, let us know.
No, I think we covered most of the important matters. Like you said, the viewers at their respective places, they should leave anything that they want us to discuss in the comment section, so that we can cover everything, so that they cannot say, no, you only covered certain issues or your focus is on this. They should share that with us. I think from my side, that's I wanted to add more on what you've said. Then we'll see on our next episode what we discuss.
Certainly. And please like this video and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. There's also there on YouTube the TT hookup. Please subscribe to that. And we'd like your support all round. Read all our newspapers. There's the Central News in the Free State. There's the Insider. There's the Step Up News. What else is there in Lebona?
There's also have the Mail in the Free State. We have the Dumelang. People should read all the newspapers. And also we have the what else do we have? Others others that are no longer existing. Those ones.
All of them. Yes. There's Taba News also.
There's Taba News also. There's also what is the name of that paper? I forgot it now. I forgot. No, Puisano News. There's also Puisano News. Yes, there's also Puisano News. So our people should read and support all these newspapers in the province, so that, because it's the only way that they can get the reliable news.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't only support those national papers. They must also support the local newspapers, so that they are able to get the news that they want.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Insightful conversations. And I think let's hook up again next week, Monday. Times and so on will be announced. But for now, peace.